Well, hey everybody, it's a beautiful early fall day and it's time to make some kindling. So the family likes to have enough of it on hand, and so what I usually just do is either through the wood shop I'll just take cut-offs and turn those into kindling, or take big pieces that are regular size and cut those down. So you'll be using the x27 today, kind of an old trusty, and I do also have the x15, which is a chopping axe, so it doesn't have quite the dramatic head sweep that the splitting axe does, but it does okay. And I'll go over, as I'm doing it, the things that I like about each one. So like a lot of jobs, the sharper the tool, the easier the time. So I've got this Fiskars pull-through sharpener, and I don't really pull it through, but I just run it up and down the blade, and like we used to say, close enough for government work. So I'll do that to the x27, and then also get the x15, just so they're nice and sharp. I don't worry about blade angles or anything, because you're going to swing it. Something, a knife or another slicing tool where you rely on the sharpness of the blade is more critical to me. This is going to have some momentum behind it. Okay, so got a piece here that I've already split pretty small previously, and so that's where I like the x15, the chopping one. And that, again, I just keep my hands back, and voila. So now I've just gone over and I grabbed a bigger chunk, and this has been cut down for about 3 or 4 months now. It was had 2 maples in the backyard that were no good, and that's where I'll use the x27, because I really need some more of that horsepower. And from there, now we've got a half, we can take it in half again, still with the x27. All right, now we're into one of my favorite things, which is, are there any trick shots you can do while you're splitting wood by hand? I don't know. See, sometimes you can make it happen. All right, so they're kind of a mishit, but actually worked out. So we're gonna try to hit right down the middle. All right, that's what I'm talking about. So now we have this piece, and it opens up a little bit like a brochure or a book. So now what we want to try to do is hit sideways and see how many pieces we can make out of one more swing. See what happens. Oh, that was foully hit. That was hit so badly. I might cut that out. I don't know.
Done.
All right, so now we have a piece. I want to make it about 2 pieces out of this one. And what if the only thing you have is the x27? Yeah, it'll absolutely work. You notice when I go for the edge of the hit, my hand is away, and as soon as I can get it out of the direct line of the axe head, I'll do that. So here, you could even do this one more time. And that's good. So sticking with the x27, we have another piece, a little bit smaller again. We're not going to hit it as hard as we can. We're just going to hit it hard enough. I don't know my own strength, I guess. All right, so that was a good hit, and then we're going to try to hit in the middle of those two. It's kind of narrow. Got one. And not what I wanted. One more try. Now, that wasn't quite where I was going, but see what happens. And then we got a piece like that. It's a pretty cool piece. What we'll do is we'll chop. And I do like the X15 because it's smaller. It's more comfortable for one-handedness, if that's the word. All right, this is one where I didn't hit it like I wanted to. Let's see if we can salvage it. This is where we might be able to do 2 for 1 again. So we'll turn it sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, to kind of wrap it up, you can use either one, the X27 or the X15. I tend to go with the X27 because it's more comfortable, but I will say the X15 is a handy tool. One thing you really want to make sure you are careful with is you can see the length, the difference in the handle length is about a foot, or however many centimeters that would be, I don't know. But one thing I gotta be very careful with is with the X15 is on a 4-strike or an overstrike, it won't bury itself into the chop necessarily. It can come off and can head towards the body part pretty quick. So you definitely want to make sure you're aware of that. If you've followed along with some of the other chopping videos that I've done, you know I don't usually use a chopping block. And but when I do kindling, I typically will. And that's something that I like to do. So anyway, if you got any tips or tricks or questions, I would be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found that useful.